We know that the majority of vehicles sold in Japan are made in Japan, and that's never going to change. But with the political landscape always shifting, we might see American made Toyotas, Subarus, Hondas be exported from the United States into Japan. And that would include massive vehicles like the Sequoia, like the Tundra, as well as smaller vehicles for our market. They're big over in Japan. Things like the Camry, for example. I mean, the Camry is a pretty long vehicle, but it gives you an idea of what kind of trade could be going on between these two countries. Now, Toyota's CEO, well, former CEO, chairman himself, Akio Toyoda, has said he's willing to import American-made Toyotas that are currently not sold in Japan. He's doing this to make sure that the tariffs can be as low as possible for the cars that are made in Japan being exported to the United States. And reverse imports into Japan are rising. And check out these numbers. After July, there's 60,328 vehicles brought into Japan after the 7-month mark, okay? They are almost pacing all-time record levels of imports for automobiles into Japan. So the market is going back up for imports there from all countries, not just the US. But the majority of these models are from like Suzuki or Honda because they make cars in India and Southeast Asia with even lower labor costs than what they have in Japan. It's no different than, manufacturers building cars in Mexico and bringing them into the United States. So we're going to go through all the manufacturers that we have, not Suzuki, unfortunately, but all the manufacturers that we get in the United States from Mazda, Subaru, Toyota, etc., Honda, Nissan, and we're going to talk about which vehicles could make their way into Japan. It is crazy, this alternate reality we seem to be living in. And if you guys find this topic fascinating, I appreciate a little smash-a-roozle of the like button. All right, I mean, we're just going to go through Toyota's lineup and which vehicles could be seen in Japan that are built here in the United States. And we can start with the Corolla Cross. The Corolla Cross is made in Japan. It's also made in Southeast Asia, and it's made obviously in the United States. So they wouldn't, unless they have some sort of supply shortage, it just makes no sense importing this car from America to Japan. RAV4. They build RAV4s in Japan. No sense in bringing that in. Electric vehicles. Well, as of right now, Toyota isn't building any electric vehicles in the United States, but that will change. And you could see 3-row EVs being brought into Japan from the Kentucky plant. And they scrapped the 3-row EV that was going to be built at the Indiana plant, and they brought that to Kentucky. But neither of those are on schedule. They've both been delayed. Highlander, known as the Kluger for other markets. The Kluger is also made in China, and they would probably just import them from China rather than the United States. But this is a possibility, an unlikely one, but a possibility. Grand Highlander makes a lot of sense. In fact, they send a lot of the parts for the Grand Highlander to Japan so that they can make the Century SUV. Century SUV is $170,000+ luxury SUV based off the Grand Highlander. Crazy, right? And they could absolutely, if this vehicle's already in sale in terms of the general dimensions as a Century, they could bring the Grand Highlander as well as the Lexus TX. I didn't even talk about, I haven't even considered the luxury end. I'm just covering the mainstream. And that might actually benefit Nissan with Infiniti, but we'll get to Nissan here in a little bit. But Lexus, they could send the TX over there, and the ES is going back to Japan for production full time, so they won't send like the ES over there. 4Runner is already made in Japan, but yeah, the Grand Highlander is a grand candidate. Crown Signia made in Japan, Land Cruiser Japan, Sequoia. All right, now we're talking like big old vehicles. You could absolutely see, not the Tacoma. The Tacoma is made in Mexico, so they would, to appease Trump or whatever laws are going on, in order to reduce tariffs, Tacoma would make no sense bringing that in because it's not made in Texas anymore. They're all made in 2 different plants in Mexico. All right, so the Tundra Hybrid, and the Sequoia SUV based off the Tundra built in San Antonio, those could be seen on the streets of Japan. And it's like, man, you probably wouldn't see a TRD Pro Tundra or Sequoia because they're even wider. And the roads are really narrow there, really narrow. And the Tundra, like how big the Tundra is, it would almost be like driving a passenger bus or something like that over in Japan. Like it is just huge. And man, when I was in the passenger buses, or you call it a tour bus in Japan, like the vehicles next to you feel like they're 6 inches away. Like, especially if it's another tour bus or a commercial vehicle, like the roads are really, really tight. All right. So this is a possibility. I could see a lot of, there could be a niche demand for something as big as a Tundra or Sequoia. All right. In Japan. All right. What about cars? They already make the Corolla and lots of different versions of the Corolla in Japan. So it would make no sense for them to import the one made in Mississippi. Prius made in Japan. Camry. This is a prime candidate. The Camry ended production in Japan a few years ago. And I guarantee there's still demand for the Camry over there. Now, they have other things like the Crown sedan, not the Crown that we get, but the real Crown sedan. But they don't have any, maybe the Lexus ES, but they don't have the Camry anymore, which is crazy. But I could see the Camry being the most popular import for Toyota being brought into Japan from Kentucky, essentially. Made in Japan, made in Austria. Well, it's killed. Sienna. This one's weird. Okay, let me explain. Toyota has the Alphard, and Toyota has other smaller minivans like the Sienta, the Noah, the Voxy, those sort of things. And the Alphard and they also, on the bigger end, they have the Hi-Ace and things like that. But Japan's very they love their vans, regardless of what it is. They like a variety of vans. The Sienna could absolutely work over there. But even though it's bigger than something like an Alphard, I guarantee it's less spacey on the interior. The Sienna, this generation, is very cramped on the inside compared to something like even an Odyssey or a Carnival. The Sienna is just not that alluring. Okay, in Japan, in the past, they've had the Previas. They called that the Estima over there. That's currently discontinued, but yeah, the Sienna could be brought in just because of the market over there for vans is insane. So it would be more of like a flex and not very practical of a minivan compared to what they have. All right. Why don't we get things like minivans from Japan? Well, they're mainly designed for the Japanese market and the safety standards there and the size requirements. All right. As a result, the Sienna here, it's very big, bloated, and not that much interior space because of safety regulations stateside. All right. So this is probably top 5 vehicles that would probably work in Japan from the United States, but it would be more of a flex, just like the Tundra would be a flex. And moving on to Honda, let's go back. The Prelude's made in Japan, one of 2 vehicles made in Japan for Honda that is sold in the United States, the other one being the Civic Type R. We finally have estimated fuel economy. I don't remember this being in the press deck. So 46 in the city, 41 on the highway. Not that great. It's not bad. And I know it's a sportier car, but I thought maybe it would be a little bit more efficient than like a Civic. Doesn't seem to be the case. Also, the Civic benefits from having smaller wheels. So that benefits fuel economy. All right. So what about Honda sending cars to Japan? Oh, well, okay. HRV made in Mexico. They already build the ZRV, I think, over there. But anyways, since it's not made in the US, doesn't matter. We know Honda will be sending 0 Series EVs built in the Marysville, Ohio plant to Japan. That's 100% going to happen. CRV. Well, the CRV, I believe I just looked this up. Yeah, the CRV was discontinued in 2022. Now, maybe they get some of the fuel cell stuff made in in the PMC factory in Ohio. The CRV is a prime candidate here to enter into Japan, especially the CRV hybrid. So that's a strong possibility. CRV hybrid, not the turbo model, I don't expect. Honda Pilot, absolutely. Built in Lincoln, Alabama. I think Honda could absolutely be the manufacturer bring in the most variety of models because they don't make, I mean, they're so North American focused, Honda is, that they don't make hardly they don't make any of the cars besides the Prelude and the Type R in in Japan that are brought in the United States. The Passport, absolutely. I think that would do really well in Japan. Let's see here. What else do they have? Another vehicle would do well in Japan. They make the Civic over there, but the Accord is not made in Japan anymore. So the Accord Hybrid could see some good success over there. And let's see here. So like I said, Civic. Oh, Ridgeline. I did see quite a few Ridgelines when I was over there, but I was also in Utsunomiya, which is like Honda's R&D backyard. So they had some imported Ridgelines. And the Ridgeline could absolutely be brought in. All right. Built in Alabama. And honestly, the Ridgeline makes a lot of sense for Japan, just with like its cargo capacity, its flexibility. I think it might not work that great because there's no hybrid on it, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. Honda Odyssey. Now, the Odyssey is a weird one. They have been getting them from China, the Honda Odyssey. It's a completely different model than our Honda Odyssey. I love the Honda Odyssey. I could absolutely see this being brought into Japan. Again, the minivan market there, they like variety, they like character, and the American-made Honda Odyssey would be welcomed there, and it is a very good product overall. No hybrid on it, though, could reduce its desirability, where you have the Sienna, which is hybrid. Okay, so Honda, man, let me count this. Ridgeline, Odyssey, Accord, CR-V, and Pilot, Passport. That's six models right there. Prologue won't work because it's made in Mexico. However, there is the luxury division of Honda, or you could say performance division of Honda, which is Acura. I could absolutely see these being successful over in Japan because it is so cool. Because over there, you don't have Acura whatsoever. In Japan, Acura does not exist. In Japan, Infiniti does not exist. In Japan, Lexus began existing in 2005. If we look at the vehicles Acura has here, Integra would do well over there. I believe it would do well. TLX, rest in peace. ZDX is built by General Motors. It might do okay, but electric car, I mean, it would just be like such an anomaly over there. It's a really big car too. ADX is built in Mexico. RDX could work really well over there, but no hybrid on RDX or MDX might limit its desirability because most of everything over in Japan is a hybrid. All right, but MDX, RDX, Integra could see success over there. Moving on to Nissan, the X-Trail / Rogue. I mean, they make the X-Trail over in Japan, so they wouldn't bring that in. Pathfinder, made in Smyrna, Tennessee. This could absolutely be sold over there, kind of like the Honda Pilot or the Highlander or the Grand Highlander, right? Murano would be a prime candidate. I mean, it says it in the article right here. I mean, Murano, they can't sell them in the United States, so start sending them to Japan. Maybe Japan would have more interest, but I doubt it. It just, again, would be one of those anomaly vehicles. Yeah, he has his tool set. Now, the Frontier is made in Canton, Mississippi, and this could absolutely see success over there. It's not too big, like the Ridgeline. I mean, the Ridgeline's not body on frame like this, but yeah, this could have success absolutely over in Japan. Now, most of their trucks you see over there are small trucks like K trucks, but there is a demand, I guarantee, for something like this. And I think Mitsubishi brings in the Triton from Southeast Asia or something. All right, so let's see here. What else from Nissan? Kicks is made in Mexico, so that won't work. Pathfinder, we already said that'll work. Murano, Armada is made in Japan. Altima, that could be brought into Japan. So we'll see about that. What about Mazda? Well, Mazda just makes one vehicle in the United States, and that's a CX-50. They could send this over there to be kind of an alternative, especially the hybrid with the Toyota hybrid system in this. They could send this over there to be an alternative to the CX-5 that is built in Japan. All right. Wow. He got a lot of either saliva or snot on the microphone. All right, so CX-50, that's it. That's it for Mazda. We can move on. What about Subaru? Makes a lot of vehicles here in the United States. Now, they have the Crosstrek over in Japan already, so no need to bring that in. Forester, they have that in Japan already. They make it there. The Outback stopped, so this could absolutely be brought into Japan from the Lafayette, Indiana plant, as well as the Subaru Ascent. Both of these vehicles could succeed. You went down? Yeah. Both of those could absolutely succeed for Subaru over there, especially once they get a hybrid in the Outback. And what's crazy about the Outback, they just killed it. March of 2025 for a smaller vehicle called the Subaru Layback. What the heck? It's like a lifted version of the Subaru Lavorg. Interesting. I wish we got the Lavorg. If you guys wish we got the Lavorg Stateside, make sure to put that in the comments. It's not going to do anything to bring it here, but man, you got a lot of snot on my microphone. Mitsubishi. Well, Mitsubishi doesn't make any vehicles in the United States. I just felt like throwing this in here. All of them are built in Japan now that the Baby Mirage is gone. That was built in Thailand or something. There's one more that I forgot. What about Infiniti? Well, Infiniti has the QX65 coming out based off the QX60. QX60 could absolutely be brought into Japan. This is built in Smyrna, Tennessee, alongside the Pathfinder, for example, alongside of the Rogue, the Murano. They make a lot of vehicles there. They used to make the Leaf there, for example. This could work. This could work in Japan. I mean, I think it's cool looking enough. And there could be a demand for it to some degree. Again, no hybrids might limit its desirability, as just about everything in Japan is a hybrid. But, and again, these are going to be such low volume, all these vehicles, that, you know, only time will tell if any of these will be brought into Japan and sold, as Akio Toyota is envisioning, as the political landscape is calling for such actions to be made in order for American big, overweight, and very expensive cars to be brought into Japan. It's going to be a very small niche luxury market, essentially, for these American-made Toyotas to be imported in Japan. But I thought this was a fun topic. I got a kick out of it. I hope you guys got a kick out of it as well. I'm assuming you did if you made it this far in the video. And conversely, let me know what vehicle you want from Japan that we don't currently have. Is it the Crown Sport? Is it the Corolla wagon? Is it like a ZRV/HRV hybrid? Something like the Honda Step wagon, the Nissan Sakura, right? If we're talking about K cars, I want all the K cars in the United States. And I will catch you guys in the next one. I appreciate you guys lasting this far into the video, and have a great day.